Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have an Izuku ex-listener, and I just wanted to say this one is fan-written. Link will be in the description. Also, sorry if there's any background noises. My sister, she's a baby, is being like really loud today for some reason. Yeah, so let us just get into it. Right now you are standing on a ladder painting the wall in the living room of the dorm that you and your classmates are living in. This was an assignment given to you by your teacher, Mr. Aizawa. The whole class got into a huge argument, and if Mr. Aizawa didn't use his quirk, you were pretty sure that everything would have gone up in flames, or explosions, or ice, or really anything. Literally. Katsuki was so mad that he was going to explode the entire place and set it on fire. Even Todoroki was mad. Your best friend Deku wanted to calm them down with his quirk, if things got to that point at least, but he didn't know he would jump out of the building with an angry Katsuki or take Todoroki away, and he doesn't think he would have been able to get everyone out before the two started to clash. It wasn't only Kacchan and Todoroki arguing, even Kirishima, Denki, and Ida were arguing. The majority of the same people in the class tried calming them all down, but with Katsuki making things worse, it was close to impossible. So once Mr. Aizawa was able to get the class to quiet down, which was surprisingly easy, he came up with the idea for us to work as a group to redo, if you will, the living quarters, since you guys wanted to most likely stay there for the next 2 years of high school, as long as you guys didn't do anything dumb or leave. So you guys got to work. Mr. Aizawa gave you each a week to finish the assignment, and Ito told everybody to write down their top 3 favorite colors. And you said put them down in piles according to the color written on each card. You wrote down all of the colors in order from least to greatest, and it took about an hour or so because you had messed up a few times. When you finally got it, you called the members into the living room, everyone taking a seat. Some were on the floor and some were on the couch or standing. Okay, I'm just gonna say the top 3 colors, but I can say my personal idea. You looked at Ida, who just nodded at you. Well, I think we should all come up with an idea of something to paint on the wall. I wouldn't mind painting by myself because I haven't in a while, but maybe we can put everyone's idea on the wall? Maybe some things that people like the most. You felt all of their eyes on you, which made you really uncomfortable, and you felt scared that they wouldn't like your idea. And maybe I can use the top 3 colors as a background? It was quiet. Too quiet for your liking. Suddenly, everyone started saying that idea was better than Ida's. It did make Ida a bit upset, but he had to admit he liked your idea more. You had never shown your classmates any of your paintings before because you felt that they were bad and you wanted to improve your art some more, because it wasn't exactly perfect. You smiled and ran to your room, quickly grabbing some scarce sketchbooks, 5 to be exact, and ran downstairs. You tore out 2 pieces of paper and gave 2 to each of your classmates as you asked Deku to grab some pencils, as he always seemed to have. And so he did with a smile, causing a blush to crawl over your face, and your eyes softened as you watched Deku sprint towards his room. Looking back at your classmates, you told them to come up with something of their own, and they had today and tomorrow to come up with the idea, so you could spend the rest of the time painting on the walls. Though you would still need help. Mina ran to you holding her paper in her hand and showed you what her design was, and you smiled because it was perfectly suited her, so you nodded and took out a black pen from your pocket and carefully outlined her drawing. And it was like that for most of your classmates, some taking a while because no idea really stuck out to them. So you started to plan where you would put it, and writing down the different colors you would need. You suddenly started to panic. You needed to buy paint, and the school gave you money for that, so it wasn't really a problem, but you needed help carrying all of the paint. Momo noticed the expression on your face and asked what the problem was. I need help." Before you could finish, a voice shouted, "I'll help." It was Midoriya rushing up to you, smiling brightly. I smiled with a nod. "Okay, so does anybody else want to help me?" I said, putting on the sweetest smile I could muster. Bakugo sucked in his teeth and walked towards the boys' side of the dorm, but Kirishima jumped up towards him and saying that he wouldn't be a man if he didn't help you. So you went towards the teacher's dorm. You watched as Midoriya ran towards Eri. She was honestly adorable. You smiling, watching Midoriya smile at the little girl. You had completely forgotten everything around you. You went back to reality when Mr. Aizawa annoyingly asked you how much money you guys needed. "Oh, sorry. Well, we need a few colors, and we also need a top coat for it, so that way it doesn't chip and peel, so 500 to be safe." You watched as your teacher went inside the building and came back 5 minutes later. By then, Eri was inside and Midoriya was next to you. Mr. Aizawa handed you the money, and you put it inside your wallet. You smiled and went off it with Kirishima and Midoriya. You guys talked as you walked towards the art store that you normally went to. "We're gonna need a lot of paintbrushes and paint, so let's get the tools first and then the paint." Kirishima and Midoriya nodded. It took at least 45 minutes for you guys to get everything, and you guys all started to head home. Midoriya and Kirishima carried most of the bags, and it was late when you guys got back. You told the boys to leave the bags on the coffee table in the common room as you headed to your room because it was getting late. You woke up early the next morning and took a shower, getting dressed in white t-shirts and a pair of jeans that you had already gotten a lot of dry paint on, as it wouldn't wash off, so you wore them every single time you painted. You ran downstairs and saw no one was there, so you started to get to work. You took some tape and started to tape off the parts of the wall. You wanted everything to look clean when you took the tape off. You then realized you needed to get on a ladder to get up high. You thought you were by yourself, so a cute little pout appeared on your face to lighten the mood because you were still a bit tired. When you heard a small laugh, you blushed as you turned around to see Midoriya. "Oh, hey Midoriya," you said as you looking away, trying to hide the blush. Midoriya chuckles before asking if you need help, which you only responded with a simple nod. All I really need is someone to bring up the ladder from the basement and I'll hold it when I'm painting the wall white so it's easy to paint over," you said, smiling, and Midoriya nods, heading towards the basement. You saw Midoriya turn the corner and you ran into the kitchen. You knew it would take a while for him to find the ladder, so you quickly made him breakfast as a small thank you for helping, mainly because it was still early. After 5 minutes, you finished and you heard Midoriya call your name, confused on where you went. You heard him put down the ladder and walk towards the kitchen as you were quickly pouring Midoriya some apple juice that was in the fridge. "Oh, Midoriya, I just wanted to make you some food just to say thank you for helping me. I know it's really early." You showed him the sweetest smile you could. You might have had a mini crush on Midoriya. You wanted to get close with him, but you knew Uraraka also had a crush on him, so you tried to give her a chance. Now that you thought about it, Midoriya did seem more calm around you, so you knew he might return those feelings to her, so there was no reason to bother. Oh, a blush spread across his face as you shined brighter than the sun. You ran towards him, grabbing his hands and showing him what you made. "I didn't know what you would like, so I just made something simple. You know, I at least knew the stuff that you didn't." "Oh, thank you so much, listener." You watched as Midoriya ate the food that you made him and gave you a compliment on your cooking. It was weird, but everyone voted you the best cook out of the whole class. But that made you even more confident whenever you cooked. "Okay, let's go," Midoriya said, a bright smile of him that always made your heart flutter on his face. It was funny. For something so simple, he was so enthusiastic, but you couldn't help but let a smile creep onto your face as you nodded. You both headed towards the common room and you let Midoriya set up the ladder you were getting out. You grabbed all the art things you needed. Once you both finished setting up, you started first by going and placing tape on the higher places, and soon applying the paint to the wall. You both finished what you were doing on most of the walls as your other classmates woke up and sat around, but mainly leaving the work to the two of you. Midoriya insisted that the two of you could do it just fine. Once you finished painting the walls, you both went and reminded the people who didn't give in their cards or their ideas to give them in. You started to sketch out the drawing you already had and talked with the others who finished. The walls were done and you went over with a black paint marker. You waited for the marker to dry while asking everybody what they thought. When you saw that everybody liked it and the paint dried, you then asked some of the girls to help. You asked Momo to make some ladders and she smiled happily as she started getting to work. And you handed some of the other girls to help her paint a layer of white to cover the old color of the wall. And depending on what you were working on, you let the paint dry as you got out even more paint for the wall. You made sure that you had everything besides some other paint from the others who gave you their ideas. You had to get up higher, so you asked Midoriya to hold a ladder for you. You heard Mina start to complain about not having anything to do, so while you painted, you thought of something for some of the girls to do. "Hey Mina, I have something you guys can do. Why not paint your part of the wall?" They all seemed to love the idea as you handed them their cards, and you had used colored pencils to show what color to paint certain spots. The boys helped hold the ladder, please. "Deku, can you help hold my ladder?" It was Uraraka. As you watched Midoriya left to where Uraraka was, her ladder laid in front of her. You saw the slight blush on both of their faces, making you a sea of jealousy. You ignored it, and no one realized that you didn't have someone holding your ladder for you. You were talking with the other girls while painting, and you were giving them tips on how to paint and sometimes telling them how to blend it. You had showed Uraraka how to blend the paint as she wanted you to, but because she was further away from you, you had to lean back, and then you leaned too far back and you started to fall. And these weren't like 2 feet ladders, where you wouldn't feel as much pain, but these ladders were 10 feet tall. You started to fall, but before you could hit the ground, you fell into someone's hands and instinctively curled yourself closer to them. You felt whoever had caught you, so you looked up to see those dark green eyes as you fell in love, staring down at you with worry. "Are you okay, listener?" His voice was so soft and calm for some reason it made you shudder because of how gentle it was. It was like someone stole your breath from you because you felt time stop. You didn't realize that you had used your quirk until Midoriya broke eye contact with you, wondering why his classmates had suddenly stopped making noise. Listener, are you using your..." Midoriya turned to you and you kissed him. You weren't even thinking about it, but what shocked you the most was when he kissed you back. You wrapped your arms around his neck, but before he broke away, a blush went all on his face. You both stared at each other and you stopped using your quirk, startling both you and Midoriya as you watched your friends with a smirk. Some more worried than anything, and Bakugo was holding Uraraka's ladder, when Midoriya had been moments before catching you. You heard what sounded like a slightly annoyed Uraraka tell Midoriya to put you down and say that you had legs for a reason, but you just let Midoriya put you down because you felt better, knowing that Midoriya might just like you back. You both had a deep blush on your faces and you looked up, letting out a sigh. Oh, fuck this. You grabbed Midoriya's arm and ran off, pulling him with you. And you went to your room and pulled Midoriya inside and closed the door. Thank you for saving me back there, you started, but you were cut off by Midoriya. Call me Izuku, he said with a soft smile on his face, making your heart flutter as you nodded. Well then, Izuku, I'll be blunt. I like you, and I have for a while, and I'm really sorry for kissing you like that and using my quirk. Please just don't hate me, you said. You felt confident at first, but then you started to doubt yourself. You felt him lift your face and a hand sneak around your waist as you looked into his eyes, and you felt a blush across your face. You saw him inching closer, and so you closed your eyes, his breath on your lips. You knew he was close, so you leaned in, connecting your lips. The kiss was filled with love, comfort, and there was passion behind it, and yet it was also so gentle at the same time. You melted like a popsicle in the middle of the summer heat, and your heart felt like it was on a roller coaster. You felt the hand on your chin leave to hold you by the waist, and you reached up, wrapping your arms around his neck, both of you deepening the kiss. But all good things must come to an end, as there was a knock at your door. Instead of breaking away and being frightened, you both slowly pulled away, looking into each other's eyes, and you stopped time, leaving both you and Izuku in your own world. As you nestled your head into his neck, taking in the smell of his clothes. The next words that left Izuku's mouth made you want to bounce off the walls, but you kept calm, not wanting to ruin the mood. I love you, listener. Will you be my partner? Izuku asked, his voice calm, relaxed, but sweet at the same time. You couldn't help but melt into his embrace even more. Of course, Izuku. I've always loved you, you said, and you both slowly pulled away from each other, and you turned around, walking to the door. And you stopped using your quirk as your face fell a bit from seeing Uraraka standing there with the fakest smile on her face. So, how long did you stop time for, huh? Come on, I know when you use your quirk, but I know you liked Izuku, and I'm sorry, but I tried so hard to wish for someday that I would lose my feelings for him, and I ignored him for a week thinking that you might make your move, but you never did. When Izuku caught me, I used my quirk without realizing it, and we kissed, and I had to tell him, and I can't wait anymore, and I'm sorry, but just don't hate me. Like, seriously, you said, bowing to Uraraka. When you looked up, you saw a glare on her face turn to a frown, which confused you. I was waiting for you to ask out Midoriya, so I came here to make sure he wouldn't reject you, but I guess my work is done. Also, there's someone else on my mind. Although, I will admit I did have a crush on Izuku, but he's all yours, she said, sending you with a wink before jumping into Uraraka's arm, happy that this wouldn't ruin your relationship. And the only reason I blushed around Izuku, and he blushed around me, was because he knows who I like, and I made him keep it a secret. So... But don't worry, I'll go to the others for you, so you two can take some time. She winked at you as a blush spread across your face. You nodded and let go of Uraraka and closed the door, looking at him again. You smiled playfully and then went back to hugging Izuku, making him fall onto your bed and you on top of him. You giggled at his red face. Know what I'm gonna call you? Izuku nodded. No, please don't be anything bad. You giggled again, running your hands through his hair. How about Zuku? It's so cute. I love it, can I? You said. Your eyes looked like they had beautiful stars in them, and Izuku couldn't say no even if he wanted to. But you two didn't even realize that you were kissing until you both needed air. You smiled and sat up. Now come on, let's get back to work, Izuku. You watched as Izuku blushed from the cute nickname. You got up, pulling him towards the door, leading him towards the other. You both had bright smiles on your faces, and you both felt happy to finally be together. Alright, so that's the end of this one. I want to say thank you for writing this. I know you didn't write it for me, but linking it in the chat as always. Either way, music link, Discord link, and fanfic link will all be in the description. Sorry. Anyways, have a great rest of your day, night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever it is, and goodbye!